1. Hi, bonjour et bienvenue à la séance sur le futur du coaching. Je m'appelle Valérie Plot et je suis la dirigeante régionale de la CNG pour la région du Québec et du Nunavut. C'est avec un grand plaisir que je serai votre modératrice pour la session d'aujourd'hui. S'il vous plaît, prendre note que la session sera enregistrée. Please note that today's session will be recorded. Before starting, I would like to acknowledge that I'm located in Montreal, in the territory of Great Peace Treaty of 1701, the traditional territory of the Canadian Kea Mohawk. The Mohawk people have lived on this land since time immemorial. We are grateful to have the opportunity to be present in this territory. I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the territory in which you find yourself. As we move towards today's session, please share your comments in the chat space and question by using the Q&A button in the language of your choice. You can vote for the question you like by clicking the thumbs up button. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we have 3 panelists joining us: Louis Beauséjour, Tracy Peaver, and Magali Brabant. They will share their experience and thoughts around today's topic. Let's meet them. Magali, can you introduce yourself? Est-ce que tu peux te présenter?
Bonjour, est-ce que vous m'entendez bien?
Oui, tout à fait,
Parfait,
Magali.
génial. Il y avait une espèce d'écran unmute yourself, je ne comprenais plus. Alors, bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. I'm super happy to be with you today for this panel conversation around the future of coaching. Je dois vous avouer que c'est avec beaucoup d'humilité que j'ai accepté l'invitation pour participer au panel aujourd'hui. I will probably learn more than anybody else who's connected today. I'm not an expert in coaching. I'm not a certified coach. Moi, je suis une simple gestionnaire qui a vu à quel point le coaching et tout ce qui l'entoure peut être bénéfique pour un individu, pour une équipe, pour une organisation, un milieu de travail. Moi, j'ai une formation en gestion. J'ai un bac en commerce spécialisé en gestion des ressources humaines, and I have a master's degree in project management. It's really management that is still my passion. I spent most of my career working in the HR field. Alors, j'ai travaillé dans à peu près toutes les disciplines. J'ai géré aussi beaucoup de différentes disciplines dans le domaine des ressources humaines. I worked in 5 different departments so far. So tiny ones, 80 employees, 200 employees. I went to mid-size departments, and now I'm in a big one that I love. I work for Public Services and Procurement Canada, and I've been with the department for many years. I just love the complexity, the diversity, the size, the expertise that we have in the department. So I'm still learning, even though I've been with the department for many years. I'm currently the Ombud for Mental Health at PSPC, and I've been the Ombud for the past 2 months. Just before being the Ombud, I was the DG of a sector in the HR branch that we call People Development Services. So I was pretty much leading all the programs that provide support to employees in their development. So from the onboarding, learning, of course, recognition, performance and talent management, leadership development, and career management. Yes, at PSPC, we still have a career center. Il y a plus beaucoup de centres de carrière au sein de la fonction publique. S'il y a des anciens collègues du centre de carrière qui nous écoutent, ils vont rire quand je vais dire que le centre de carrière, c'est un petit bijou qu'on essaie de cacher pour protéger ASPAC, mais qui fait un travail vraiment extraordinaire. So I worked, of course, with the career counselors and career coaches at PSPC. They help individuals and groups in their process of learning, understanding more, taking more control over their career, learning more about themselves and how to work with each other. So that's been a great, wonderful, very passionate group of people that I had the pleasure to work with and learn from. I discovered coaching before that. It was actually in university while I was doing my master's degree. On top of learning all the techniques around project management, I had the privilege of having a few teachers who were certified coaches who really helped me learn about myself. And that made me a stronger person. And I think it also helped me become a better leader. So, and after that, throughout my career, I used the services of certified coaches for different reasons. I've never worked for the same, like with the same coach for a long, long time. It was really for, say, different coaches for different reasons, but it's always been a wonderful learning experience. So that's how I'm going to speak to you today. It's really from a user experience more than anything else. I've also did the group coaching throughout my career. That was quite a fun experience. And we'll talk about a bit of a group coaching a bit later. So I've used services of coaches also to help me as a manager, namely to resolve workplace issues, as opposed to me as a manager with that strong approach. I'm going to fix everything. I think coaches have helped me use a way more collaborative and open approach so that everybody can be part and feel empowered to find a solution to a problem. That helped a lot. So, and now as the Ombud for mental health, I think the service I refer my clients to the most is coaching, to a point where I'm worried about capacity. And that's probably an issue in some other organizations as well. So all that to say, I'm a super strong believer that coaching can help us get better, get the best out of us and improve our workplaces. So I think we have lots to learn from that discipline. So let's hope we do a bit of that today. Alors voilà, je suis très heureuse d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui.
Merci Magali, merci pour cette belle introduction. So next we're going to go with Tracy. Tracy, welcome. Could you please introduce yourself?
Oui, absolument. Bonjour tout le monde. Moi, je m'appelle Tracy Peaver. I'm situated on the unceded territories of the Algonquin and the Anishinaabe Nation here in Ottawa. I want to thank everyone who has participated in this coaching week, who has organized this coaching week. It has been phenomenal. And I've really enjoyed my experiences coaching this week. So thanks for putting this together. And to all of you, thanks for joining us today. We're about 50 people on the call, and I hope we have a really rich conversation today. So just a little bit about my background and how I came to be sitting in this chair today. I spent the first 15 years of my career in the digital communications domain. Alors, pour 15 ans, j'étais à Montréal dans le domaine de communication numérique. Et c'était après une expérience avec un coach que j'ai décidé de complètement changer ma carrière. I had a profound experience with a coach after working for 15 years in the digital communication space in Montreal. And after working with a coach, I realized I really wanted to drastically change my career. So I went back to school. I did a master's degree in human systems intervention at Concordia University, where I learned about how human systems work, from like big macro systems like hierarchy and patriarchy and capitalism to how communities work, how organizations work, all the way down to how small groups function or not, and all the way down to how individuals learn and grow and change. And so, ça fait 10 ans que je suis une praticienne de développement organisationnel et j'ai complété mon formation en coaching ici à Ottawa at Integral Coaching Canada. I completed my coach training 10 years ago. So I've been working as an organizational development specialist ever since. I was an entrepreneur. I had my own consulting little business in Toronto. I then moved across the country to Victoria, BC, and I became an internal consultant at Royal Roads University, working in the space of leadership development and culture change. And then I made the great leap into government, and I was so surprised how satisfying it felt to be a public servant. Donc, je travaillais à la fonction publique de Colombie-Britannique pendant à peu près 5 ans. Et ensuite, j'ai déménagé à Ottawa. Je suis née à Ottawa. Et I joined the federal public service in January 2019 as a conflict management practitioner and organizational development practitioner in the Office of Informal Workplace Conflict Management at PSPC. And in October 2020, I got really lucky and I got accepted to be a Canada free agent. So a shout out to all the Canada free agents who are on the call today. I'm a part of the TBS cohort, and I'm deployed back at PSPC working on a culture change mandate with about a population of about 500 folks. I also completed training here in Ottawa at St. Paul University, which is a great institution that I can recommend, the Canadian Institute for Conflict Resolution. I completed the third-party neutral program there, which is a great introductory level course if you're looking to make a shift into the facilitation or the conflict resolution space. So I mainly work with groups and teams who are going through difficulty and change, but I'm always zooming out into the macro. So like, how does the wider system impact this team or this group? And all the way down to how individuals learn and how they make sense of their environment. So it's been really fun to meet folks one-on-one this week and come back into serving people on an individual basis on what they really want to create in their lives and in their careers. So I should also mention that running parallel to all this professional work that I've done, I've been a yoga practitioner, a meditator, and a Qigong practitioner for 25 years. And so the practices of self-awareness and looking through a lens of non-duality and how everything is related to each other, it significantly informs my life and my work and my organizational practice. So I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I'm also looking forward to this conversation. It's going to be great to hear from all of you guys. Louis Beauséjour, bonjour. Est-ce que ce serait possible de vous introduire, Louis?
Tout à fait. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis très content, mais à la fois surpris de faire partie du panel. En fait, j'ai été approché il y a à peu près 2 semaines. Puis vous allez voir un peu pourquoi. En fait, moi, je suis un jeune retraité de la fonction publique fédérale. J'ai pris ma retraite en juillet dernier comme haut dirigeant de l'Agence du revenu du Canada. En fait, j'étais sous-commissaire de la région du Québec pour l'Agence du revenu du Canada. Je suis économiste de formation, donc pas grand-chose à voir avec le coaching comme tel. Mais en même temps, dans la poursuite de ma carrière, je suis devenu d'abord un gestionnaire, puis après ça, un cadre, puis un haut dirigeant dans différents ministères, que ce soit des agences centrales, ministère des Finances, Conseil du Trésor, puis par la suite, Emploi et Développement social, où j'étais responsable du programme d'assurance-emploi, et par la suite à Service Canada, pour finalement, comme j'ai dit, finir ma carrière au sein de l'agence. Puis une des choses que je constatais durant ma carrière comme dirigeant, c'est comment l'importance de la connaissance de soi, l'importance de se connaître, de connaître les autres. Donc, ça m'a amené à réfléchir davantage quels sont les moyens pour arriver à ça, puis comment que je pourrais aussi utiliser mes compétences, mes aptitudes pour aider d'autres personnes à faire face à la possibilité de mieux se connaître, avancer plus rapidement. Puis c'est comme ça, en fait, que j'ai pris une formation en coaching. J'avais eu une première, une première touche avec le coaching quand j'ai fait la formation sur Living Leadership avec l'École de la fonction publique. Donc, on utilisait une approche de coaching de groupe, effectivement, pour pouvoir avancer plus rapidement dans les enjeux auxquels on faisait face. Par la suite, j'ai pris donc cette formation-là. Depuis l'automne, en fait, j'ai commencé à vraiment coacher. Puis, il y a quelques semaines, j'ai approché France pour avoir plus d'informations sur le sommet parce que je voulais offrir des heures de coaching. Puis on m'a donc approché pour participer à ce panel pour partager, en fait, donc une perspective de quelles sont les vues aux dirigeants en même temps, même si bien que j'ai pris ma retraite. Pourquoi que moi, j'ai trouvé ça, que je trouve ça important, le coaching, puis en quoi l'expérience que j'ai comme au dirigeant m'a amené à faire une réflexion sur comment le coaching peut être utile. Puis je vais partager davantage de cette vue-là un peu plus tard, mais ce que je dirais juste d'entrée de jeu, c'est que au cours des dernières années, je dirais les 2 dernières années, j'ai porté un intérêt particulier auprès des chefs d'équipe, des gestionnaires au sein de l'Agence du revenu du Canada. Puis le constat que j'ai fait, puis que je partageais continuellement avec l'équipe, c'est l'importance qu'ils ont sur le milieu de travail, puis l'importance qu'ils doivent accorder à connaître qui ils sont, puis à connaître l'impact qu'ils peuvent avoir sur le milieu de travail. Puis dans ce sens-là, je trouve que le coaching comme outil puis comme connaissance peut être super puissant pour améliorer les capacités des gestionnaires chez l'équipe. Fait que je suis très, très heureux, malgré que je suis surpris, mais très heureux de pouvoir partager avec vous mes idées et mes vues et pensées là-dessus.
Merci beaucoup, Louis. Je pense que la table est déjà bien mise pour débuter cette conversation. I don't know if the participants are eager as I am to hear about your view, your opinion. We're going to start this conversation actually with the first question for all of you guys. The question is, what is your personal view on the future of coaching? Quelle est votre vision personnelle de l'avenir du coaching? Maybe we can start with Magali. On peut peut-être commencer avec toi, Magali.
Certainement, merci beaucoup. Écoutez, moi, je pense qu'on va utiliser le coaching de plus en plus pour de plus en plus de choses, de plus en plus de raisons. On est familier avec l'utilisation du coaching pour se préparer à une entrevue, hein. Surtout quand on entre dans le monde des EX, je pense que ça, c'est quelque chose que ça fait quand même plusieurs années que c'est là. Dans le contexte de développement de carrière, un tout petit peu pour ceux qui ont accès à ces services-là, mais c'est pas des services qui sont très accessibles par tous les employés de la fonction publique, hein. C'est quand même réservé à un certain nombre, malheureusement, un nombre trop limité, je crois, de personnes. C'est pour ça que des initiatives comme la dernière semaine, le sommet du coaching, ont tellement de valeur pour l'ensemble des employés. Puis je vous lève mon chapeau d'avoir fait tous les efforts pour organiser une si belle semaine. On est habitué aussi d'utiliser le coaching dans la résolution de conflits. Alors, quand il y a un problème, on va chercher un coach pour nous aider à régler un problème, tu sais. Mais moi, je pense que le coaching, un petit peu comme Louis disait, c'est une stratégie de développement hyper puissante qui peut avoir un super bel impact sur les individus et sur les groupes. Je pense qu'on commence à le réaliser de plus en plus. Tranquillement, le coaching et les autres stratégies de développement là, qui permettent d'avoir du feedback sur nous-mêmes par les autres. On peut mentionner le mentorat, par exemple. Là. Ça commence à prendre un petit peu plus de place sur nos plans d'apprentissage. On commence à réaliser qu'on s'éloigne des cours, des formations en salle de classe, puis qu'il y a autre chose là, qui sont importantes pour assurer notre développement, puis nous apprendre sur nous-mêmes, puis nous apprendre à être meilleurs. Alors moi, je prévois de plus grandes demandes pour de plus en plus de choses, définitivement. Je pense qu'on va aussi de plus en plus s'inspirer des principes de coaching dans le développement des compétences, dans le développement de nos leaders. Vous savez, hein, on a souvent, dans les années passées, valorisé les leaders qui ont une vision claire, qui prennent action, qui vont de l'avant, qui sont captés, qui ont du courage, la drive, qui peuvent driver la machine, tu sais. C'est impossible, en fait, de tout faire puis de demander autant à nos leaders avec la complexité du travail qu'on fait maintenant, avec la rapidité des choses, l'ampleur des défis auxquels on fait face. C'est tellement important de s'assurer que tous les membres d'une équipe sont en mesure de pleinement contribuer à l'achèvement de notre vision et de nos objectifs. Fait qu'on doit savoir bien s'entourer, faire confiance à nos gens, apprendre à connaître nos gens, comme lui a mentionné, puis connaître les forces, savoir les impliquer, faire en sorte que tout le monde soit en mesure de collaborer. Alors, toute la notion de confiance, d'échange, to be able to sit down, to provide that safe space so that all employees feel comfortable having those real conversations and bringing their whole selves in the workplace and fully contribute and innovate. I think that's extremely key to be able to establish good, safe, healthy, puis highly productive workplaces. Il y a des choses simples, là, puis on va en parler plus en détail plus tard, mais comme plus d'écoute. On parle moins, hein? On pose des questions ouvertes. Puis setting out this relationship where there's trust between management and employees. C'est beaucoup des choses de base qui sont utilisées dans le coaching. Moi, je pense qu'on a énormément à apprendre de cette discipline-là. Puis j'espère que le coaching va prendre de plus en plus de place dans nos organisations, puis que la profession aura l'ampleur du statut dont elle mérite.
Thank you so much, Magali. A growing demand that you're predicting, I definitely agree with that. So obviously, we're going to talk about the principle of coaching. It will be part of this conversation. But before that, let's go to Tracy. Tracy, what are your views actually for the future of coaching?
Well, I think we're only going to see the need for coaching increase as our world changes. Donc, moi, je vois le coaching, c'est une habilité, c'est sûr et certain. It's a skill, absolutely. We can build muscles and skills through practice. Mais moi aussi, je crois que le coaching, c'est aussi une orientation en relation entre les gens. So when I talk about coaching to my clients, I talk about it also as a relationship framework and really a stance and an orientation in how we relate to people. As public service is being asked to change, away from formal hierarchical structures as our default, towards more information flow, digital first, and circulating information through the whole organization rather than orienting to risk aversion and putting up barriers to information. As public service is being asked to change in this profound way, we're going to see the need for this stance of coaching, which is really about mutuality. To be a good coach, we also need to be coachable. D'être un bon coach, il faut aussi avoir la capacité d'être ouvert à rétroaction, d'être ouvert à l'apprentissage. Il faut qu'on soit capable de recevoir beaucoup d'informations et de s'adapter à cette information-là. So to be a good coach, we also need to be coachable. We need to demonstrate openness and willingness to learn, and not just from our vertical relationships, but from all across the organization, from our peers, and even from the people who we serve, who we are managing. I refer my clients to the PSPC Strategic Management Plan, where, it says that OCRO has highlighted the emergence of a leadership revolution, from a transformation from hierarchical structure to an empowering and an adaptive organization, making the new style of leadership the new norm. And I think coaching is an essential orientation. So relating to each other as partners by default, but also accessing these essential skills of coaches through active listening, deep empathy, powerful inquiry, and just, eternal curiosity and being open and willing to see each other, ourselves, and the world differently, because it's always in change and flux. So coaching in the future, particularly in the public service, we're only going to see it increase.
Tracy, thank you very much. We just received a comment from a participant saying that he really liked the point that you raised. We need to be coachable. On a besoin d'être coachable. I'd like to talk about this a bit more during this conversation, Tracy. Good point, thank you very much. Louis, we're gonna go with you. Do you have any view on the future of coaching? Est-ce que tu as une opinion, une vision pour le futur du coaching?
I agree with Tracy and Magali that we will need more and more coaching in the future. And I will say that this is because we are in the fast, rapid changing world. Les changements sont hyper rapides, les milieux de travail se complexifient, il y a de plus en plus de diversité, puis on accorde de plus en plus de diversité. qui amène plein d'avantages, mais qui amène sont aussi plein de défis à avoir une diversité. Donc d'où l'importance d'avoir des outils pour mieux se connaître, mieux connaître les autres, puis être capable de mieux s'adapter à ce monde qui est changeant, puis beaucoup plus complexe. Puis comme le mentionnait Tracy, puis Magali, c'est pas seulement en se faisant coacher, donc dans un processus d'apprentissage puis de développement qu'on va utiliser davantage le coaching, mais aussi comme approche de comment exercer notre leadership. Ici, je prends le sens large du leadership. On pense souvent que les chefs d'équipe, les gestionnaires, les cadres jouent un rôle de leadership, mais aussi chacun de nous, membres de la fonction publique, on a un rôle à jouer pour assurer le leadership. Puis il y a plein de compétences puis ça, je vais revenir là-dessus tantôt, là, mais il y a plein de compétences, puis Tracy en a mentionné quelques-unes, il y a plein de compétences qui sont nécessaires à un coach, qui sont aussi nécessaires, qui vont être nécessaires de la part de leaders, des leaders du futur. A lot of emphasis been put on competencies, on the what and the knowledge, but I think more and more we are looking at how we are doing things, how we lead people, and to be more aware about the how, we have to know who we are a lot more and be a lot more aware of the impact of our action, the impact of our world on the environment. And because of that, I think coaching will just, the need for coaching will grow.
Louis, merci. Je retiens les compétences. We for sure going to talk about competencies when it comes to coaching, but also, and we wish to comment here, the key leadership competency underscore the importance of coaching under mobilized people. So I like this idea here. Let's go with the second question to really dig into the coaching subject here. Magali, this question would be for you. Pourquoi, selon vous, les gestionnaires et leurs équipes devraient utiliser le coaching dans le futur? So, why should managers and their teams use coaching in the future?
As employees and as managers, we have many responsibilities and we have to deliver on a whole lot of things. We are asked to know everything, to go really, really fast. We don't have a lot of time to think, and we have to take care of the people around us, take care of our people, be empathetic, all of those wonderful things. We all have blind spots. And it's really important for everybody, for every leader at all levels in the organizations to know about those blind spots. So know about them and understand the negative impact that those things can have on our work, on the way we manage, on the way we interact with people. So connecting with coaches actually can really help us identify, understand our blind spots, and then build that little toolbox to be able to dig into our toolbox when we are exposed to that situation. On a tous fait affaire avec quelqu'un qui, on dit, une pèse sur des boutons, où on sait tous qu'il y a des situations qui nous font réagir de certaines façons. Puis ces réactions peuvent être dangereuses si on ne sait pas comment bien les gérer. Alors, so knowing, we said, know more about yourself, understand why you react certain ways, and work on improving so that you can get better. I talked about blind spots, but superpowers as well. We all have superpowers. And for those of you who think you don't have a superpower, no, everybody has a superpower. get to know your superpower and understand the impact that you can have on others when you are using that superpower. I think that is also something that you can that a coach can really help you learn and help you use in a very responsible way. I was having a good conversation with a client this morning, and she was telling me about her experience. She was diagnosed with ADHD, so she was talking about the process she had to go through to get the diagnostic, and then learn to live with what she considers her disability. And she was telling me that at some point someone helped her realize that her disability was actually her superpower. And she learned how to use something that was before that she thought was a disadvantage to her advantage. And now she's being quite successful in working on developing those new skills. Alors, je pense qu'apprendre à mieux se connaître, apprendre à se respecter dans tout ça, puis apprendre à être plus habile, ça va nous permettre d'être beaucoup plus heureux, d'être beaucoup plus en santé, puis d'être beaucoup plus productif. So I think from a team's perspective, we talked about building those relationships, be more open. If everybody does this good reflection, understands the blind spots, the superpowers, and I think this is a very good, super powerful tool so that we can have a conversation as a team, empower everybody to get involved and to understand the balance, let's say, that they have to make to be able to work as a really performing team. Je pense que si on prend le temps de focuser sur les gens d'abord, les émotions des gens, les façons dont les gens réagissent. Après ça, on est capable de créer une super dynamique d'équipe pour ensuite être en mesure ensemble de focuser sur la tâche. Alors moi, je pense que c'est un outil extrêmement puissant là, pour avoir des équipes plus performantes.
Magali, merci beaucoup. Et qui aurait cru qu'un handicap pouvait devenir un superpower? Who knew that a disability could become a superpower? Really, really like this story, actually. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so our second question will go to Tracy. Tracy, how my group coaching support team and leader through upcoming changes of return to the office post-COVID or navigating the future of work, comment le coaching de groupe pourrait-il soutenir les équipes et les dirigeants dans les changements à venir en lien avec le retour au bureau post-COVID et dans les nouvelles réalités de l'avenir du travail? Up to you, Magali. Up to you, Tracy.
Oui, alors moi, c'est ma domaine. Je travaille avec les groupes et les organisations, surtout, entre autres. Alors, le concept de group coach, c'est à supporter une équipe comme un entier. So, a group coach looks at the whole team, the whole organization, and how they're working and dancing together and how that's going. As we return to the office post-COVID, a group coach can really help the leader to take a bit of a participant stance, as opposed to, leading the conversation and asking the difficult questions. Ça permet un leader, un gestionnaire, de participer comme un égal, en coopération avec les autres gens dans le groupe, pour explorer qu'est-ce qui est important pour nous. C'est quoi les dynamiques qu'on voit ensemble? C'est quoi les réalités qu'on vive ensemble? Et le rôle d'un coach de groupe, ça pourrait être un tierce partie neutre. So a group coach can act as a third party, not invested in what comes out of the conversation, but really has their hands around the whole group, the whole team, so that they can unearth what's important for them and their next steps. So rather than, just kind of returning to business as usual and kind of falling into our old patterns, a group coach can help a team or an organization to intentionally create new norms and to be much more mindful and thoughtful about the choices that are available to them, to return to a workplace that is actually enhanced post-COVID, where they can leverage the changes that they had to navigate by working virtually. Un des bénéfices que mes clients vivent ce temps-ci, c'est qu'ils mettent, they put the emphasis du fait que tout le monde est sur le même pas dans un environnement virtuel. Ils sont capables d'inviter n'importe qui aux conversations. Ils peuvent inviter les gens à travers du Canada pour explorer et décider and to problem solve together. And so one of the benefits of working virtually is we can invite anyone from across the country into a conversation to share information and to help us make good decisions. So how can we leverage that reality in our experience return to work? So I encourage you to explore what's available to you in your department in terms of group coaches. Access your Office of Informal Workplace Conflict Management or your Ombuds office. There may even be a strategic engagement team that can help facilitate powerful or difficult conversations that can let the leader join as a participant without, potentially imposing bias or driving the conversation in the direction of their agenda. It can be more about, the group's agenda as a whole.
Merci beaucoup, Tracy, de nous avoir parlé du group coaching, coaching de groupe. Je pense que c'est une tendance qui est de plus en plus en demande actuellement. C'est une nouvelle tendance, bien sûr, mais il y a cet intérêt, bien sûr, des équipes, des gestionnaires. Alors, merci pour cette introduction au coaching de groupe. On va aller à la prochaine question. So we're going to go to the next question, actually. And Louis, this question is for you. So, how can knowledge of coaching be useful to me as a manager? En quoi la connaissance du coaching peut-être m'être utile en tant que gestionnaire? That's a good question, and I'm looking forward to your answer to that one.
In fact, I would before answering your question, I want to react to the group coaching, because there's another way that also group coaching could be used. Magali mentioned that most of the time coaching is available for executive and more difficult access to the lower level. But we could create a group like of team leaders or employees that have the same needs, and they can meet together and we can have a group coaching to resolve similar challenges. I can just think about new team leaders that just begin to be team leaders, and they will face the same kind of issue, the same question, the same kind of development needs. Then you can group them together, which reduce the cost, because now you have one coach that coach maybe 4, 5, 6 person. It's not have to be too big because you want to be useful, but that's another way that group coaching could be different. It's not the same thing that what Tracy was talking, where we have a natural groups like teams that want to resolve a challenge they face. But this one is more about people that are similar role and function in nature that just want to learn and progress together. Then I did want to react to that before answering the question. In fact, I will say that the knowledge of coaching is important, I think, on 2 different perspectives. First of all, the one that we talk a lot since the beginning, being able to use a coach, have a coach, and use coaching to develop ourselves, okay, to become, to resolve more rapidly some challenge that we face, to learn and develop faster. Like Magali mentioned, to be able to identify blind spot, okay, and to be able to, because sometimes if we just thinking by ourselves, we don't see the blind spot because we repeat to ourselves the same story. Having someone that there and use coaching it's allow you to open your mind and see new things. That's one way that it's important to know about coaching, that you can use it for your own development and to become a better person, a better human, a better leader, a better manager, and also sometimes a better parents. You know, I think coach could be used also on your personal life when you face our own other difficulty. And the other thing, I think the other aspect about knowing about coaching is knowing about what are those competencies that are needed to be a coach. Just reading about that and knowing a bit more, and after that, learning about how to use those competencies. We will see that to be a manager, a lot of the competencies are needed. In fact, this week, what was really funny, I just received a table that was looking at the 11 competencies that the International Coaching Federation using to certify coach, which is moved now to an 8 competency model. Basically, they are using the same competency, but we group them. And I was looking at the definition of those competencies. I said, wow, there's a lot in that we need to be a good leader, in fact. The first one is about, la première compétence, c'est faire preuve d'équité, d'éthique dans notre travail. Puis donc, c'est clair que peu importe ce qu'on fait dans la vie, faire preuve d'éthique est super important. Le deuxième, c'est être capable d'incarner un état d'esprit de coaching. Puis si on parle, puis Magali le mentionné, je pense que c'est Magali, mais c'est d'avoir un esprit ouvert, curieux, flexible, centré sur l'autre. Puis moi, je décris ça souvent dans être bienveillant, okay, dans l'attitude coach. Okay, on veut être bienveillant. Quand on est leader, on veut être bienveillant avec les gens avec qui on travaille. Okay, puis je pense que c'est important. Donc, taking care about people, I think it's important. The third one, I will not talk about it because it's about how we have, but maybe it's important. In fact, just taking having clear contract. I think it's important, even when you are a manager or when you're a leader, having clear contract between what you offer and what the other person brings to that. Like in terms of coaching, it's about being clear about that confidentiality is important. There's different element in the contract, but being clear about the contract and live with that contract. And I think that's another competency that a manager you should also have, and as a leader, or having clear contract with the people with who you work with. Be able to create a space with confidence, with security, and be working in partnership. In coaching, it's so key. One of the key elements when you are a coach, it's work in partnership with the, je ne sais pas en français on dit le coacher, en anglais, je ne sais jamais le mot, mais travailler être en partenaire. Hein. Quand on est un coach, on n'est pas un spécialiste de la situation, hein. On ne connaît pas la situation des gens, on n'est pas spécialiste du milieu, puis c'est pas grave. Non, c'est pas grave parce que les spécialistes, ce sont les coachés, eux autres mêmes qui sont les vrais spécialistes. Tu sais, le coach, c'est un partenaire hein, qui va utiliser ses compétences pour faire avancer. Donc, l'idée d'être un partenaire, c'est super important dans un esprit de coach. Puis comme le mentionnait Tracy, dans le monde actuel, où on veut avoir des organisations beaucoup plus plates, moins hiérarchisées, l'importance de la collaboration, du partenariat est super importante. Une autre compétence qui est aussi importante, c'est rester présent, être présent. Hein. Puis c'est la même chose comme gestionnaire, il faut que tu sois présent pour l'autre. Faut que tu sois donc à l'écoute, être flexible, ouvert avec, puis être confiant. Fait que ce sont des compétences qui sont importantes. La 6e compétence, c'est l'écoute active. Ça, c'est se concentrer sur ce que le client dit, puis des fois, il ne dit pas pour bien comprendre. Hein? C'est pas rien qu'écoute active, c'est aussi être à l'écoute de ce qui n'est pas dit. Puis ça, c'est super important pour pouvoir faire avancer les clients. C'est la même chose avec nos employés. Il faut les écouter, il faut les entendre, il faut être capable de comprendre c'est quoi les enjeux. Tu sais, parfois, les employés ou même juste les membres d'équipe, quand on est un leader, ils ont des besoins puis qui peuvent les empêcher d'avancer. Fait qu'il faut être à l'écoute de ce qui se passe aussi, pas rien qu'au travail, mais à l'extérieur aussi. Donc, c'est important d'être à l'écoute de ce qui se passe. L'autre compétence qui est super importante, c'est être capable de faire susciter des prises de conscience. Okay? Puis ça, la façon qu'on fait ça, c'est avec des questions ouvertes, hein, des questions puissantes, avec des silences parfois. Hein. Des fois, juste d'être silencieux puis d'être en attente de la réaction de l'autre pour savoir, ben, ça va faire émerger des solutions, utiliser des fois des métaphores, des analogies. Donc, être capable de faire susciter des prises de conscience. Puis, avec nos employés parfois qui sont en difficulté ou qui veulent se développer, il faut aussi les amener à prendre conscience de l'impact qu'ils ont sur leur milieu de travail. Fait que je pense que c'est important d'être capable de poser des bonnes questions puis des questions ouvertes pour laisser les gens réfléchir à l'impact qu'ils peuvent avoir. Puis finalement, ben, la dernière compétence, c'est faciliter la croissance. Puis donc, avoir des plans d'action, amener les gens à agir, amener nos employés à être autonomes. Puis ça, c'est vraiment par aider à ce que nos clients puissent puissent croître. Puis ça, on le fait via les plans d'action qu'on va amener le client ou le coaché à identifier lui-même. C'est important, un élément qui est important dans le coaching puis dans l'approche coaching. Puis comme gestionnaire aussi, on devrait réfléchir à ça. L'approche coaching, c'est vraiment amener le client à trouver lui-même ses propres solutions, ses propres actions. Puis ça, c'est facilement démontré au niveau scientifique. Là. Plus que la solution, elle vient de toi, plus que tu perçois que c'est une solution qui vient de toi, il y a bien plus de chances que tu la mettes en œuvre, puis il y a bien plus de chances que le changement que tu es en train de mettre en œuvre va être permanent. Parce qu'il est l'origine de toi, de ta prise de conscience. Fait que comme gestionnaire, puis chef d'équipe, puis comme leader, plus qu'on est capable de faire en sorte que les solutions émergent, quand c'est des solutions, que ce soit des solutions de développement ou même des solutions pour régler un problème, émergent des employés ou de la personne, il y a bien plus de chances que ce soit efficace. C'est un peu pour ça que c'est important d'acquérir une plus grande connaissance du coaching comme un instrument supplémentaire dans un rôle de gestionnaire. Hein, comme gestionnaire, on a des rôles qu'on connaît. Hein. Le premier rôle qu'on sait, on est les patrons. Hein, c'est nous qui donnons les directives. Fait que ça, on a un rôle de directeur. Ça, il est facile, on le comprend bien. On a un rôle de mentor aussi, hein, parce qu'en général, très souvent, on a des connaissances supplémentaires qu'on veut partager. Ça, c'est un rôle de mentor. Mais le rôle de coach, parfois, on l'oublie. On a la difficulté à se l'approprier, on a la difficulté à comprendre qu'est-ce que ça veut dire être coach. Puis, être coach, ça ne veut pas dire qu'on oublie tout le reste. Ça fait partie d'un élément, un outil, une approche qui doit être utilisée par les gestionnaires.
Wow. Thank you so much, Louis. I didn't know about those 8 competencies. So that was great to hear about all of them. And I'm pretty sure if people would like to know more about those 8 competencies, you can probably go on the ICF website or obviously do a little Google search. You mentioned something that really resonated with me, Louis, where you said when the solution comes from the person, there's greater chances that the person will apply them into or his life. And I really believe that's the key point of coaching, coach or dare to ask questions, but the solution comes from the person. So thank you for this great answer. We would actually, when I look at the time, it would be already time for a period question. Merci beaucoup, Magali, Tracy, et Louis pour cette excellente présentation. We will move on to the question from the audience, of which you may use the question and answer function at the bottom of your screen. Remember to use the thumbs up to upvote the question you want to ask. Les questions alterneront entre le français et l'anglais lorsque c'est possible, bien sûr. Alors, we have here our first question. how can I connect with a career coaches in ECCC? Okay, so that's a very specific question for a department. I don't know necessarily if the panelists would have the answer. Maybe Magali, peut-être que tu sais, comme tu travailles déjà avec des coachs de carrière, do you know if there's coaches that would be available for employee for specific department, or obviously we can refer you to the general coaches. Oui, vas-y, Magali.
No, but I would really recommend that you reach out to the career community of practice. There is a community of practice, like the coaching community of practice in the public service, and a lot of coaches are there to help to help advance the disciplines. I'd definitely reach out to them. I don't know if we can send information to the participants afterwards, Valérie, but I would definitely recommend that. And I can certainly reach out to the Career Center at PSPC. Maybe they have contact information that they can provide. I see that in the that we have Heather Anderson who's saying she is a certified coach. Yay! So you can reach out to Heather. Thank you for that, Heather.
So thank you, Heather. Yeah, obviously you can also answer through the chat box. If you have answer, if you want to mention something, feel free to interact. This is a interactive session. So we are expecting question answer from you guys too in the audience. So while we're waiting for the next question, I would like to ask another question actually to Magali. Magali, what will be the in-demand coaching skill in the post-COVID era? So we hear a lot about this post-COVID era. So en français, quelles seront les habiletés de coaching qui seront en demande dans cette nouvelle ère post-COVID, tant attendue?
Tant attendu et qui sera vécu tellement différemment d'un individu à l'autre. So we like to talk about future of work as in like many years from now, but I think we have to focus on the very near future, the coming months, what's going to happen in September, when we will start, say, deconfining, be able to go back to the workplace. And I really have to put my mental health hat on. You know, I'm the Ombudsman for mental health at PSPC, at well above and beyond what's going to happen with the physical return to work, the hybrid type of approach from telework to being in a workspace and all of that. I think that has its own complexity, but we have to really be mindful that all employees are going to live the return to work or the back to the new normal very differently. You're going to have the group of employees who are going to be super anxious to come back to work, like super happy, start the switch back on, let's go, we're going back to work, we're seeing people and everything is going, say, wonderful. There are a lot of employees who are going to feel anxiety, stress around all the changes, around the unknown, around the having to adapt to this new reality. We have to make sure we're there, we're flexible, we're open, and we take care of those people. And there are going to be those who have injuries, who lived difficult things during the COVID period, or even those employees who were having a mental health, different struggles or even illnesses before the COVID period, but they were managing very properly. But because of everything that we lived through COVID, are now more struggling. So we really have to be managers, employees, leader, everybody in the organization. We have to be super careful and mindful that no one is left behind. So we heard a lot about leading with empathy. Puis leading with empathy is quite large. Si je regarde à toutes les compétences, Louis, j'ai pris plein de notes. J'ai toutes pris les notes des différentes compétences que tu as mentionnées, puis il y en a une grosse moitié, c'est même probablement plus, qui parlent d'empathie ou qui forment ce que c'est d'être empathique. So leading with empathy, listening with genuine interest, truly caring about others, cultivating this meaningful relationship with your employees, being aware of their needs, of their struggle, setting up that environment so that people feel comfortable saying, you know what, this is not working for me. I am struggling. I need a bit of support. This is going to be so essential. We have a lot of managers who come to us and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable having those difficult conversations. That employee, I don't know what to tell him. I don't know. I don't want to hurt him. I don't know how to do this. First recommendation is open your heart. It's the only thing you need to do. Be there to listen, open your heart, show you care. And if you don't know what to do next, it's okay and it's normal. You, as managers, we're not experts on many different fields. There are experts who are there to support you. So the only thing you need to say is, you know what? We're going to do this together, and then go knock on the door of an expert who's going to be there to help. If you know that whole empathy of some of the skills that Louis mentioned are a struggle for you, get help now. Talk to a coach now to get the development that you need to be able to, like, if it's that's a blind spot for you, go get help now so you'll be ready in a few months, few years from now to be able to take care of your people. C'est vraiment le message que je veux envoyer. Everybody needs to be part of whatever is going to be the future of our workplace. So let's make sure no one is left behind.
Magali, merci. Go get help. That's what I'm hearing from you. Et merci de partager ce message. Nous avons une autre question d'un participant qui est en français. So we have another question that will be in French. And this question will be actually for all of you guys if you have an answer to that one. Que pensez de l'utilité du coaching personnel vie pour accompagner le client dans son organisation à faire face aux défis classiques tels que la procrastination, le mieux-être, le syndrome de l'imposteur, peur du changement, succès et échec, estime de soi, équilibre, travail, famille. This is a very long question. I don't know if there's somebody that wants to jump in for an answer to that one.
Je peux peut-être commencer. En fait, c'est sûr que l'approche de coach peut être utilisée pour résoudre plein d'enjeux, incluant des enjeux personnels. Ce n'est pas rien pour des enjeux qui sont de nature professionnelle. Ce qu'il faut faire attention, il faut différencier le rôle d'un coach puis le rôle d'un psychologue, d'autre part. Okay? Donc, s'assurer qu'on ne fait pas de la psychologie, mais qu'on travaille de manière prospective pour pouvoir régler des enjeux. Effectivement, que ce soit des enjeux d'être capable de gérer les conflits travail-famille, que ce soit des enjeux de procrastination, que ce soit des enjeux. Donc, tant qu'on est capable de réfléchir et travailler avec le coaché sur quelles sont les solutions qu'il entrevoit, puis quels sont les enjeux qu'il voit, puis quel objectif qu'il se donne, puis comment qu'on peut travailler avec lui. Fait qu'on peut couvrir plein d'enjeux qui sont de nature personnelle, effectivement. Comme j'ai dit, tant qu'on est conscient, qu'on n'est pas des psychologues, puis qu'on n'essaie pas de travailler sur des enjeux qui auraient des aspects d'avantage sur des événements passés qui se sont réalisés, mais qu'on focus sur l'avenir, sur qu'est-ce qu'on peut mettre en œuvre. Fait que ce serait un peu la manière que je répondrais à cette question-là.
Thank you, Louis. And thanks for doing the nuances between coach and psychologist. There's a big difference, obviously, and it's important to remind people this is not the same thing. This is not the same services as well. So great point here, but I don't know if somebody else, another panelist would like to answer this question, or do we go to the next question? We're good. Oh, Tracy, go ahead, please.
Juste pour ajouter à la réponse de Louis, il faut rappeler que le coach, on travaille avec une période de temps qui est plutôt présent vers l'avenir. Et le psychologue est plutôt présent vers le passé. Alors, quelques précisément dans la question sont des symptômes et pas nécessairement des racines. Alors, un coach pourrait être un complément à un psychologue, à travailler de présent vers l'avenir, mais aussi de changer la conversation à l'interne du client, d'explorer qu'est-ce que tu veux, comment est-ce que tu vois toi-même dans l'avenir, de créer une image plus sportive de l'avenir de la personne. Alors, je voulais juste rajouter la période du temps d'un coach, mais aussi d'explorer un peu plus en profondeur que juste les symptômes de procrastination, par exemple. Qu'est-ce qui est en dessous de ça? Puis, comment est-ce que vous voyez vous-même dans l'avenir et de créer une image de soi-même de l'avenir?
Thank you, Tracy. I didn't know that actually. I just learned with you that coaching is more focused on the present and future, as psychologists would be more focused in present and past. So that's a good information to share. Thank you. Magali, est-ce que tu voulais renchérir ou do we go to the next question? Next question. Perfect. That one. Are there any other themes that have emerged from this week's experience? Okay, this one is really kind of particular. We're going to go to the next one actually, because I think it's targeted to a particular person. The third question here. How can departments like ECC that does not have any formal coaching learn from other departments will track record in coaching? Myself and other coaches at ECC are creating some interests and we are still very much in need for a champion for coaching at the senior management level. And we know there's need everywhere across the government for coaching. And this is also why this summit has been put for helping people to get the help that they need. But I'd like maybe some of you guys, panelists, experts, may have an idea or a response to that comments here.
Go ahead, Louis, vas-y.
Non, ben moi, j'ai pas de... Tu peux y aller, Magali.
De peur de me répéter, I really believe in the power of the work that communities of practice do in the federal public service. I was the chair of the National Staffing Council for 4 years, and I know the beauty of sharing and working together and going together and in trying to influence senior management and advancing some of our priorities, some of the good things for employees. So I do want to recommend that you reach out to the community of practice for coaching and community of practice for career counseling. The community of practice for career did an initiative about a year ago. What they wanted to do is to be able to offer career counseling, career coaching across the entire federal public service. And they went to DM breakfast, for example. They had PCO providing a lot of support to push a bit the model that they wanted to propose to be implemented across the entire public service. So reach out to them. Call Mélanie Legault. Mélanie Legault is an extraordinary contact, but we can provide you some other contact information to learn a bit about what they did, how they did it, and where they're at. And maybe that you can partner with them to push the envelope even more. I think that's going to have a very powerful impact, and it's going to help a lot of public servants in the future.
I would also maybe like to emphasize the fact that you guys can find those community of practice through GC Collabs. So coaching community, career counseling community, you can find them on GC Collab. If you just do a word search, you'll find them, obviously. Okay, next question, we still have some time. This one would be for actually Tracy. So, Tracy, d'après votre expérience personnelle, que ce soit en tant que coach ou en tant que coaché, quels sont vos souhaits pour l'avenir du coaching dans la fonction publique? Donc, en anglais, from your personal experience, either being a coach or coachee, working as a coach? What are your wishes for the future of coaching in the public service?
Thank you. I have so many wishes. First, I would wish for coaching to be seen as an orientation and a way of being in relationship with our colleagues and with our teams and the people that we manage. So to expand the definition of what it means to be a coach. I would also wish to be included in that orientation is, can we see ourselves, or can we see the core thrust of our jobs as public servants as being champions of each other? We work in a hierarchical bureaucratic structure in silos where the structure enforces competition. By default, we have to compete for resources. We have to compete with our colleagues in order to move up, where there's fewer positions at the top than there are at the bottom. And so, this is a whole systemic shift that we're talking about right now, as public service is awakening to the limitations of always orienting to power over relationships as opposed to power with and power to, and encouraging power within. So that's my first wish, is this orientation that we see our jobs as being champions of each other. I also wish that we rebrand our skill set. I cringe when I hear the term soft skills. This term soft skills comes from a time when being relational was seen as a kind of weakness. But our leadership profiles are changing, with 60% of the public service, around 60% being women, and so the leadership profile is really changing. We need to be seeing soft skills be rebranded to relational competency. And relational competency needs to be regarded as an equal competency as technical competency. So not as, soft being a level down, soft skills versus technical skills. Relational skills are as important as technical skills and are actually the differentiator when it comes to, hiring and deciding who we're going to put in a position. So that's another wish that I have for coaching. I also wish that in the increase of coaching as an orientation, as a skill set and a way of being together, that we start orienting our speech away from deficit consciousness and what we lack, what the barriers are, what the risks are, towards emphasizing speech that is about possibility and emphasizing, what's possible. So it's a very discrete change in every meeting and every conversation. How can we emphasize possibility and thinking future forward and opening to what might be, as opposed to why can't we do that? That's another wish that I have. And I also wish for there to be an increasing diversity of coaches. So we need to shift our system in public service. We need to become an anti-racist system. We need to be embodying the imperatives of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to appreciate the gifts of our Indigenous folks in the public service and Indigenous citizens. So I wish for there to be much more support for people of color and for Indigenous folks to be able to complete the typically very expensive training to become a coach, to be able to serve the public service in this way. And I also wish for just an increasing fluidity of integrating coaching in a daily way of being, and to really normalize in the public service, like really normalize receiving feedback, being open to learning, and asking for coaching from people at all levels, above, below, and across from us. So I have a long laundry list of wishes, but those are a few that come to mind for me.
Tracy, I think you're selling coaching so well that you're convincing people to become a coach. We got a question here. Maybe you'll be able to answer. Are there specific places to apply for? Oui, vas-y, Louis.
Yeah, I just want to react to the wishes that just Tracy just mentioned. Just talk about my experience as a former EDM at CRA. I will say that I never see myself in competition with others. And I think I agree that people see that they need to be in competition to grow in the public service. But I do believe that you can grow with having a collaborative approach. You can grow by taking care about your colleagues. And I think that your attitude would speak by itself at the end and will allow you to access to higher ranks. That's one thing I want to share with people. The other thing I want also to share, there's an organization, I think that right now at CRA and a couple of other organizations, I'm beginning to use an approach called the leadership character. And it's been developed by, in fact, I forget the name of the institute. The Ivy Institute, exactly. And I think the approach is it's a complement to the usual competencies that we use to assess leadership. And here it's about assessing character leadership. And I think it's begin to be part in some organization of how we assess leader. And I just hope that this approach will, and I think that the same wishes that Tracy just mentioned, that kind of approach and begin to be used by all departments. And in fact, what they call leadership character, in fact, what we call soft skills, what we have been calling soft skills. And it's a way to talk about those soft skills, but using more character-based leadership. And when we use character, people are more willing to adopt character than talking about soft skills. I didn't want to just add that to comments that just Tracy made.
I think it's great points that Louis and sorry Valérie, parce I see in the chat we at Ocro ELD, since are working with PSC to develop a common set of attributes for the public service. You know that talent management for EX4s and 5s that started to use attributes. They're not the same as what IV uses, but they're very similar. So the soft skills, the important skills. I think so. I'm super happy to see that Ocro is working with the PSC to take this one step further. I think this is taking us into the right direction.
Merci à Louis et à Magali de m'avoir interrompu. C'était un point de clarification plus que pertinent. Donc, immense merci. On a encore le temps pour une dernière question et je pense que vous êtes tellement des bons porte-parole pour le processus de coaching qu'il y a des gens qui sont vraiment intéressés à devenir coach et c'est la question qu'on a ici. Are there specific places to apply for work in the coaching area with the Government of Canada external position? One of you may have the answer to that. I know, Tracy, you are a certified coach. I don't know if you may have the answer to that question.
Sorry, I was just replying in the chat to one of the questions. Can you repeat the question, please, Valérie?
Oui, absolutely. Are there specific places to apply for work in the coaching area within the Government of Canada external position? Donc, est-ce qu'il y a des espaces ou des endroits où on peut appliquer pour travailler dans le domaine du coaching au gouvernement du Canada ou dans des positions externes?
Yeah, what comes to mind is paying attention to where coaching is really being supported. So at the Canada School for Public Service, at TBS and OCRO, PSPC is doing a great job in offering coaching to managers and executives. Those are some of the places that come to mind for on-staff coaches. But there's also the possibility of getting on the corporate supply list as an external and being hired as a contractor. Because often, there is a capacity challenge, as Magali mentioned earlier. And when clients are looking for coaching, HR departments or the Ombuds offices, are capable of referring externally. So to get on the corporate supply list as a coach as well. Those are just some ideas that come to mind. And we talked about GC Collab earlier. So GC Collab is open beyond the firewall of government. So you're able to join communities of practice there to offer services. And, we even saw some people on the call today who are looking for coaching. And so that's another way to expand your network and to find your way, into the public service.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Je m'excuse, je pense que ma connexion me fait un petit faux bond. J'en suis désolée. La beauté du live. OK,
Tout
merci. Merci beaucoup. So we're right on time for the conclusion, actually. I would like to thank Magali, Tracy, and Louis for this amazing presentation. I was so glad to be a witness of it, part of it. Actually, for the end of this session, this is really all the time we have for the question. We want to thank you all for joining us today. Si vous avez manqué des présentations durant le sommet du coaching, vous pourrez les revisionner en allant sur, comme je le mentionnais tout à l'heure, les pages GC Collab Coaching Network dans la section discussion. So if you have missed presentations during the summit of coaching, you can catch them going on the GC Collab Coaching Network page in the discussion section. We have a final word to share from France Hutchinson, l'instigatrice of this initiative on the future of coaching in the public service. I would invite you to please listen to the following video. And thank you so much again for being with us today. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bonjour, c'est France Hutchinson du réseau de coaching du gouvernement du Canada. Ceci est un message bilingue. This will be a bilingual session. I'm France Hutchinson from the Government of Canada Coaching Network. This is the end of the third edition of the Coaching Summit, which is an amazing contribution of internal coaches, external coaches as well as amazing organization like the Canada School of Public Service and networks like the National Managers Community, the Interdepartmental Counseling and Career Coaching Network, and also the amazing collaboration of volunteers. So the Coaching Summit is increasing demand. It's our third edition. Like I said, the numbers are always increasing. Participants have a chance to really have a taste for what is coaching. Donc, je suis très heureuse de vous présenter et surtout d'honorer les coachs qui ont contribué à cette troisième édition du Sommet du coaching. C'est un événement qui est toujours en demande et en grande demande. Nous avons des nombres incessants, augmentants de participants qui reçoivent des services gratuits de coaching par notre communauté de coachs internes ainsi que de coachs externes. Et ceci sans oublier l'immense participation de partenaires, d'organisations partenaires et de réseaux tels que l'École de la fonction publique du Canada, ainsi que le réseau national des gestionnaires et le réseau interministériel de counseling et de carrière. de la fonction publique du Canada. Donc, si vous vous posez la question, what's next? Quel est le futur maintenant du coaching? Or if you're thinking about, okay, now what's next? What's the future of the coaching service within the public service? I'm asking you this coaching question. What are you willing to do in order to continue to contribute to the coaching culture within the public service? Donc, je vous laisse avec cette question pour vous. Qu'êtes-vous prêt à faire pour amener encore plus de coaching et cultiver cette culture de coaching-là au sein de la fonction publique du Canada? Donc, il y aura d'autres événements et évidemment un autre sommet à venir pour la 4e édition. Nous avons toujours besoin de bénévoles et d'aide afin d'améliorer nos processus de sélection des candidats, de jumelage avec les coachs. Donc, nous avons vraiment besoin aussi d'un ambassadeur, d'un champion. Donc, si vous êtes de cette personne qui pourrait nous amener encore plus loin, à améliorer nos services, à améliorer aussi non seulement la façon dont on fait les choses, mais surtout améliorer la portée d'un service de coaching, je vous invite à communiquer avec nous. If you are interested in contributing to this event, I really invite you to connect with the coaching community and definitely offer support. If you're a champion, if you're someone who's a good ambassador, if you have thoughts on how to improve our services, please do so if you want to also contribute to the next coaching summit. We also have other events coming and other projects. So definitely as a free agent within the public service, my role as a free agent, I decided to dedicate my next phase of my career to systemic coaching. So systemic coaching, what is that? We will have sessions and webinars in the next few weeks on the topic. Si vous êtes intéressé donc par le futur du coaching et ça vous êtes intéressé par ce qui est ensuite la suite de notre sommet du coaching, entre les événements, nous avons des webinaires qui pourront servir à amener un peu plus de coaching systémique dans les organisations. Mon rôle pour ma dernière phase de la carrière dans la fonction publique sera vraiment d'amener le coaching systémique à titre d'agent libre dans la fonction publique. Donc, si vous êtes intéressé par le thème, restez à l'affût de nos événements. Et j'aimerais vous porter votre attention aux 3 images qui sont à droite. Évidemment, le coaching nous amène à penser coaching individuel. Donc, oui, on peut aller chercher cette petite goutte, cette bille et offrir du coaching individuel dans vos organisations. Mais il y a aussi beaucoup de projets entourant le coaching de groupe, le coaching d'équipe, le coaching dans les programmes du leadership. Évidemment, je vous amène vraiment à penser à la dernière image dans le coin droit. Quelle est la portée du coaching que nous pouvons apporter dans vos organisations, dans vos organigrammes? Avec qui pouvons-nous travailler, les ressources humaines, les services internes, pour que le mot coaching puisse bien être intégré et offert à une plus grande majorité de gens parce que oui, ça a un impact. Donc, let me translate this in English. So if you're interested in knowing more about the kind of coaching services that can be offered within the organization, stay tuned for our events portion. The coaching network will definitely offer more webinars and not just during the coaching summit. And I invite you to take a look at the 3 images on the top, on the right side of the presentation. If you're thinking about coaching, there might be a way for you to bring more individual coaching in your networks for you as an employee. So think about what you can do in that sphere, what you can promote, or how you can contribute if you're a coach. Think also about team coaching or group coaching. A lot of this is being offered through leadership programs in organizations, but try to think broadly on how can we change maybe the format of this and how we can broaden the audience. And let's take a look at the third image. If you're thinking about the impact of coaching within your organization, take a look at where can we integrate more coaching, not just individual, but how can coaches collaborate with HR services, with other teams that might want to integrate more coaching within their practices. So coaching is a mindset. Donc, le coaching, c'est vraiment une façon de penser, c'est une croissance. coaching should be in the future integrated as a leadership competency. That's my view. That's the view of many coaches as well. Coaching can be offered and not just offered, but learned through different communities, different leaders. Donc, le coaching, c'est quelque chose qui, selon moi, devrait faire partie des compétences en leadership. C'est une façon d'amener les gens aussi à intégrer cette mentalité de croissance-là. Et c'est quelque chose que nous pouvons enseigner. Les coachs, croyons sincèrement que les habiletés de coaching peuvent être enseignées à une plus grande majorité afin de développer cette culture-là. Donc, les leaders, les employés peuvent prendre des formations. And I'm very pleased to say that the Canada School Public Service have great training in that sphere. As a previous employee from the Canada School Public Service, being a faculty member for a long, long time, I really know that they're playing an active role in that sphere. Donc, si vous êtes intéressé aussi à des formations pour vos organisations, pour vos employés, il y a évidemment l'école de la fonction publique. Évidemment, je la connais très bien pour y avoir travaillé pendant plusieurs années à titre de membre de la faculté. Il y a vraiment beaucoup de formations en lien avec le coaching au sein de l'école de la fonction publique. Donc, je vous amène à réfléchir à ceci. Il est temps. Il est temps pour vous de penser à what's next. Comment est-ce que je peux amener plus de coaching dans la fonction publique? Quel rôle je peux jouer? Et entourez-vous du réseau de coaching. So it's now time. See this image? It's now time to bring more of that coaching within the public service. Think about your organization, how you can play an active role, and let's work together. The interdepartmental community. Donc, le réseau de coaching du gouvernement du Canada est un réseau interministériel. Donc, il y a beaucoup de coachs qui peuvent ensemble s'enseigner des meilleures pratiques et surtout collaborer. So we strongly believe that the coaching community is an interdepartmental collaboration and that coaches can work together in sharing best practices and sharing help and collaboration. So if you're interested in knowing more about the coaching community, meet us. Meet us. The only space right now we have that is very efficient is our GC Collab page. We have more than 726 members so far and keeping growing. So meet us there. You will find us. This is an image of what it looks like right now. Meet us in GC Collab, and we're sharing events there. We will sharing the recordings of the coaching summit if you missed some sessions. And we invite you as well to come and share who you are and what's your dream about coaching within the public service. And if you have thoughts on how you want to bring it forward, but you need help, the community is really there for you. Donc, si vous voulez nous rencontrer, le réseau de coaching du gouvernement du Canada a un espace dans GC Collab. Voici ce que ça a l'air. Nous avons une communauté de plus de 700 personnes qui, évidemment, ça continue à grandir. Et surtout, nous partageons là-dedans les enregistrements de nos séances. Si vous avez manqué des séances lors du sommet du coaching, c'est là-dedans. Et nous avons aussi une grande communauté qui partage leurs meilleures pratiques. Venez vous présenter, venez nous partager quel est votre rêve par rapport au coaching et comment est-ce que nous pouvons vous aider à faire grandir le mot coaching dans la fonction publique. So let's keep our collaboration growing et surtout ensemble faisons différence dans la vie de nos fonctionnaires de fonction publique du Canada. Pardon. So let's continue collaborating. If you have thoughts on how we can keep our projects growing, please share with us. And together, let's make a difference within our public service. Have a great week.